If you're in trouble, you call 911. If you want a pizza, you open an app. If you're a millionaire and you want a last-minute table at a Michelin-starred restaurant, you call your Amex Centurion concierge. But if you are a billionaire, you don't do any of those things. Because at the 10-figure level, there are no apps, no hold music, and no customer service. There is a single, dedicated phone line to a person the world never sees, the director of operations inside a private family office. This is the phone number that can arrange the private purchase of a one-of-a-kind artwork before it reaches auction, stop a local news segment from airing before the first commercial break, and bypass international flight restrictions in the middle of a global lockdown. It is the call that makes the rules of the physical world quietly dissolve. Today we are stepping inside the invisible infrastructure of the 0.1%. We're walking through the hidden hierarchy of the family office, the operational logistics that allow a billionaire to move through the world like a ghost, and the exact reason this phone number is the most expensive asset they own. Listen, stay to the end. Because the final layer of this system isn't about luxury and it isn't about convenience. It's about continuity of power, the mechanism that ensures the world's wealthiest families never truly lose, even when the rest of the world is in crisis. And once you see it, you won't look at extreme wealth the same way again. No brochure voice, no fantasy math, just the operating system of extreme wealth, translated into how it actually works. There is a common misconception that billionaires spend their time talking to personal assistants. In reality, a personal assistant is Tier 1 support. They handle the dry cleaning and the calendar. The phone number we're talking about doesn't go to an assistant. It goes to a director of operations inside a private family office. To understand the distinction, you need to understand what a family office actually is. It's not a bank. It's not a wealth management firm. It's a private company that exists to serve a single family. Think of it as a miniature corporation where the only product is the principal's autonomy, and the only KPI is the elimination of friction from every aspect of their life. The scale is what separates it from everything else in the wealth management world. A high net worth individual might use a shared concierge service like Quintessentially or John Paul, platforms where one employee handles 40 to 50 clients. A billionaire has a dedicated team of 10 to 50 people whose only job is them. Full-time, on salary, on call around the clock. The annual operating cost of a single family office, according to reporting by the Financial Times and UBS, typically runs between $3 million and $15 million per year, before external consultants, before legal retainers, and before the network of fixers we'll get to in a moment. The myth. A billionaire's life runs on a better version of what everyone else uses. Better assistants, better apps, better credit cards. The truth. A billionaire's life runs on a completely separate system. They don't use a better concierge. They use a private institution that functions like a combination of a law firm, a logistics company, a private intelligence agency, and a five-star hotel. Staffed exclusively for one family, operating 24 hours a day with a single mandate. Make sure the principal never experiences friction of any kind. That's the distinction. A millionaire has services. A billionaire has a system. And the phone number at the center of that system connects to the one person who can activate every part of it with a single instruction. Now listen closely, because this is where the system starts feeling different from anything you've seen in a luxury video. Because the most frequent use of that phone number isn't for yachts or restaurant reservations, it's for survival. The medical director. Inside most top-tier family offices, there is a retained medical director. This is typically a senior physician, often a former department head at a major hospital, or a retired military medical officer who is kept on a retainer reported to range between $300,000 and $500,000 per year. Their job is not to treat the family. Their job is to ensure that when treatment is needed, the system responds at a speed and a level of privacy that the public healthcare system cannot match. When the phone number rings for a medical event, it doesn't trigger a call to emergency services. It triggers a parallel system. The family office will typically have standing contracts with private medical firms that specialize in rapid deployment clinical environments, companies that can convert a bedroom or a hotel suite into a surgical-grade treatment space within 2 to 4 hours. Mobile ICU capability, anesthesia, monitoring equipment, specialist physicians on standby who can be flown in by private jet. But here's the part that separates this from a premium health plan. Many family offices maintain what the industry calls shadow medical records, a complete parallel set of health files kept entirely outside the public hospital system. The reason is financial, not medical. If a billionaire who controls a publicly traded company is diagnosed with a serious illness, that information is market sensitive. A leaked health record can move a stock price. A hospitalization can trigger a board crisis. Shadow records ensure that the principal's health status exists in a system that has no connection to public infrastructure, no shared databases, and no obligation to disclose. For context, the annual cost of maintaining this kind of private medical capability, the retained physician, the rapid deployment contracts, the shadow records, the specialist standby network, is estimated by industry sources at $1 to $3 million per year. That's roughly what a mid-size American company spends on its entire employee health plan. Except this covers one family. The legal machine. The same architecture applies to legal exposure. When a situation occurs at 2 in the morning, a car accident, a leaked photograph, an altercation, a compromising video, the phone number doesn't connect to a lawyer who files a motion in the morning. It connects to a general counsel who activates a reputation defense team that is on the ground within 30 minutes. These teams operate at the intersection of law, public relations, and digital forensics. Their playbook, as described by former practitioners who've spoken to outlets like the Financial Times and Vanity Fair, typically follows a specific sequence. Firstly, secure the source material. If a bystander filmed the incident, the team negotiates to purchase the copyright to the footage, not to suppress it, but to own it, which gives them legal standing to issue takedown requests on any platform where it surfaces. Secondly, negotiate a private settlement with any affected parties before a police report is filed, if applicable. Thirdly, conduct a digital sweep, identifying and flagging any social media posts, forum threads, or early press mentions, and deploying legal notices, corrections, or counter-narratives before the story gains traction. By the time the sun comes up, the objective is not that the situation has been defended. The objective is that the situation has been functionally deleted. The cost of maintaining this capability on retainer, the general counsel, the reputation defense firm, the digital forensics team, the crisis PR consultants, is reported to run between $2 million and $5 million annually. And that's the retainer. If an actual crisis is activated, the per-incident cost can run into the tens of millions. The myth: billionaires have good lawyers. The truth: billionaires have a legal operating system that functions more like a rapid response military unit than a law practice. The objective is not to win a case. It's to ensure a case never exists. Quick question before we go deeper. If you had a family office with this kind of capability, what would you use the phone number for first? A. The medical infrastructure, ensuring your family has shadow records and rapid deployment clinical capability anywhere in the world? Or B. The legal machine, ensuring that any crisis can be contained and deleted before it becomes a headline? Drop A or B in the comments. The global logistics map. To understand how a single phone call can produce results that seem impossible, you have to see the network that sits behind it. Most top-tier family offices maintain a roster of local fixers in every major city: New York, London, Dubai, Hong Kong, Singapore, Geneva, and typically 4 to 6 secondary cities depending on the family's travel patterns. These aren't employees. They're independent consultants, often former diplomats, retired intelligence officers, or senior hospitality executives who are paid a standby retainer just to be available. The retainer ensures that when the phone rings, the person on the other end doesn't need briefing. They already know the city, the institutions, the decision makers, and the pressure points. The logistics these networks execute are not the kind of thing a concierge service handles. When a family office principal decides at short notice to travel to a country with a closed border, the director of operations doesn't call a travel agent. They call a political consultant with a direct relationship to that country's Ministry of Interior. What's being arranged is not a flight. It's a diplomatic exception. When a principal wants access to a sold-out cultural event, the local fixer doesn't call the box office. They call the institution's board, a board that, in many cases, includes members whose foundations have received significant donations from the same family. This is the mechanism that the outside world experiences as a billionaire getting whatever they want. From inside the system, it's not magic. It's infrastructure, a pre-positioned global network of relationships, retainers, and obligations that can be activated with a single call because the investment was made years in advance. The annual cost of maintaining that network, the standby retainers, the political consultants, the local fixers across 8 to 12 cities, is estimated at $2 to $6 million per year, depending on geographic scope. Add it up. The family office staff, $3 to $15 million. The medical infrastructure, $1 to $3 million. The legal machine, $2 to $5 million. The global logistics network, $2 to $6 million. Before a single request is made, before a single crisis is resolved, the baseline operating cost of the system behind the phone number runs between $8 million and $29 million per year. That's the price of eliminating friction from a billionaire's life. And that's before anything actually goes wrong. The price. If you've made it this far, you're not watching for the restaurant reservations. You're watching because this system raises a question that most luxury content refuses to ask. To make the phone number work, the family office has to know everything. Medical codes, passwords, location data 24 hours a day, financial positions, personal relationships, the information that would end careers if it surfaced. The system only functions if the people operating it have total visibility into the principal's life. The kind of visibility that no one else, not even a spouse, may have. The staff who answer this phone see the world in its rawest form. They see the panic, the greed, the 3 a.m. calls that reveal who someone actually is when the public performance stops. They are, in every meaningful sense, the keepers of the myth. And they are compensated accordingly. Industry sources describe what are known as silence premiums, deferred compensation structures that only pay out in full if the employee remains completely invisible for a defined period after leaving the office. Typically 10 years, no interviews, no memoirs, no background quotes. The premium can represent 30 to 50% of the employee's total compensation package. It's not a bonus for good work. It's a financial incentive to never speak about the work at all. The billionaire is the master of the system, but they are also its hostage. The phone number that eliminates every form of external friction creates an internal dependency that can never be unwound. If the system talks, the empire doesn't just take reputational damage. It collapses. That's why the silence premiums exist. That's why the staff are paid what they're paid. And that's why the most powerful phone number in the world is also the most fragile. The myth. The phone number is the ultimate freedom. The truth. The phone number is a trade. It buys control over time, health, reputation, and movement. But the price is total transparency to a system that knows more about you than you may know about yourself. Freedom from the outside world. Dependence on the inside one. That's the deal. So, if you had the phone number, what would you use it for? And more importantly, would you use it to build something in the real world, or to ensure you never have to be part of the real world again? Drop your answer in the comments. If the invisible systems of extreme wealth are what you're here for, subscribe and click the video on screen, because next week we're going inside the billionaire bunkers, and the people building them are spending $500 million on homes they hope they never have to use.